Welcome back to the Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 Let's Play, and Silver's feet are clipping through the ground. But last time, we completed the Trials of Soleanna again, which means that we can now get access to Kingdom Valley again. So now it is time to see it from Silver's perspective. Mostly. Just mostly. He's not stunning them! Yes, another example of the cutscene showing us something Silver can't do when we play as him.
So, what's going on? Circumstances have changed. I need to rescue the princess.
One thing that this game does suffer from a little bit, this is like its most minor thing that it suffers from, and it's not alone, is when you play through the different stories and the characters in their own stories come together, you have to watch the same cutscene in both stories. And you know, in Sonic Adventure, I don't think it was ever made official, but it's often considered that each story is told by a different character's perspective, and as such, the levels do look... Not the levels, the cutscenes actually have different dialogue. I don't know how being told by someone else's perspective gives them different dialogue. You know, it avoids everything becoming a bit dull. Unfortunately, Sonic Adventure is the only game to do that. Sonic Adventure 2, the dialogue is the same. Occasionally they'll be from different camera angles, and occasionally they skip a few bits of dialogue. But for the most part, it is the same cutscenes. Sonic Heroes, it's the same cutscenes, but thankfully, it only happens twice per story, and those cutscenes are pretty short. And funny. But, you know, this game I think is the worst with that. Thankfully, it's the last game where that's the case, because, you know, from here on out, it's pretty much, you're only going to be playing as Sonic, you know, besides Black Knight, but that doesn't mean anything because they don't have their own stories. So, you don't have that issue. But I just think it's most apparent here, because there's no alterations to the cutscenes, and it happens a lot more often than it does in Heroes. And, you know, overall these cutscenes just aren't as entertaining as Heroes. Alright, so one little gimmick that we have in Silver's Kingdom Valley is using these podiums... Whoa! Is using these podium things to knock into these towers, which the slightest little hit will knock them over, and that applies to every story. Even one small bullet will knock these towers over, and when they fall into the water, there is no splash whatsoever. Not a single splash. There's a little secret hidden up here. If you end up defeating all the enemies and hitting the towers, it's the way you need to go. You can destroy the egg stingers. I think there's a silver medal up here somewhere, but I don't care about that. And so we need to use these towers as platforms. I don't think you need to destroy this one. You can just make your way down here. So if you do run out of things to throw, then you can simply fly right down. And when you get to these bars, they're like a door, just a load of bars that are blocking your path. All you need to do is hold down R1. Again, we've been through Kingdom Valley a little bit with Silver before, so all you need to do is approach it. Oh, I've already done it. Okay, no, I already did it. But, again, Kingdom Valley, quite a long stage, unfortunately! Yeah, quite a long stage. A little secret that I failed to get. Come on, Silver! Come on, Silver! Come on, Silver! Yeah, I think you need to be on the crates and all that. I was nowhere near those missiles. I know their explosions are big, but I was nowhere near those missiles. That wasn't fair. I'm well aware that this game is filled with stuff that isn't fair. But yeah, there's a silver medal over there in case you're interested. Again, this thing just opened. Silver's not even glowing. I don't know how when you're moving, Silver's spines do stretch out a bit when he uses psychokinesis. So if you didn't notice that he was that he looked like a pot leaf before, well, he looks a lot more like it when you use his psychokinesis or telekinesis, whatever you call it. I hear both. Pretty much the same thing regardless. Those egg lancers won't die, by the way. You have to, they'll only sustain 1 bit of damage, if any. I do like the graphics on these wooden platforms. They look like they've been covered in gloss, but other than that, I do like their graphics. This water does... It looks okay, it's a bit on the slow side. Almost looks like I'm watching very slow moving glue. Again, the water graphics, it's not much, but they do look a little bit better in the Xbox 360 version. I never got why the PS3 version has a few differences here and there. Unleashed does it as well. It's like in Sonic Unleashed, when you're in the Apophis Hub world, there's this one part, there's like this one plant pot, which is missing. I think it's in the PS3 version that it's missing. And that's like the weirdest omission ever. Why have a plant pot in the hub world in one version and take it out in the other version? Ooh. That's probably the weirdest change I've ever known to happen.
Let's clean up this trash.
And the most pointless change I've ever known to happen. Like, what is the point of that? Why have the plant pot there in the Xbox 360 version and take it out for PS3? Was the game just not able to program properly because of that one plant pot? So it had to be taken out. I want this guy dead. I need him dead. Oh, he is dead. Whoa! So much stuff is happening. The slowdown makes sense. For once, the slowdown makes sense. Sadly, that wasn't going to destroy any of them. It didn't even destroy the regular one. Come on, let me stun them. That's all I ask. I want to stun them. I still need to learn the names of... That's what I meant when I said they were accurate. I still need to learn the names of Eggman's robots. That's the one thing I'm not very good at. It's the names of the robots. I'm really not familiar with the names of most of the robots in the series. I can name most of Unleashed. I can name most of Heroes. Mostly because of Sonic Retro. Or when in Unleashed case it does tell you their names. But the others I'm really not so familiar with. Yeah, I know the Solaris monster is better, but that's primarily because there's less of them. Oh, come on! That is the main reason I hate Kingdom Valley with Silver. And now I'm going to die. Oh, there goes the S rank. I don't even remember where the checkpoint is. Okay, checkpoint's right here. We gotta push this podium because we can't get onto it. But that is why I hate Kingdom Valley with Silver. It is so easy to take a hit in this stage. And that's the main reason I don't like playing as Silver in general. It's so easy to get hit so much. And yes, their missiles do scatter the rings away from you when you try to pick them up. Thankfully this one is here. To here I want to go. And again, this is quite a long stage. You know, we're still in the first section of it. Because whenever Silver is going the same distance as Sonic or Shadow are, you know, what may take them 5 minutes is going to take him a lot longer because he's so much slower and his combat system is so much slower. And I really need that ring. And they're clipping through the building. Die! Look at all this slowdown that's happening. All of you need to die. I don't want you here. Another slowdown. There we go. Right. We are technically going through the same part that we played through as Silver in Sonic's story, only now we're going through it backwards. So, how does that work? How can... If we're going through the same section that we did in Sonic's story at the same time as Sonic's story, how can we be going through this section backwards now? That's happened to me so many times, it's really getting annoying. Thankfully, we're almost done playing a silver story, but unfortunately, that doesn't mean we're done playing a silver because there's still so much more to do. And that also applies to the final level of the game, if you can call it a final level, because that also involves playing as most of the characters minus Sonic and Blaze. Yeah, they get rid of the two most fun characters to play as. And although you can breeze through it for the most part, you have to put effort into one character, and funnily enough, that character is Silver. You're going to be spending over half the level with Silver because you can play with all the other characters, and they'll be done in a matter of seconds. But not Silver. And, well, funnily enough, it's when you're going for that damned fourth Chaos Emerald. Would have been more fitting with Shadow, but Shadow has to go for the 7th Chaos Emerald. There's still a few emeralds that we haven't seen yet. The yellow emerald is barely in this game. You don't see the yellow emerald until right at the end of Shadow's story after completing his final stage. Just before you get to the... I think it's either just before or just after the final boss of Shadow's story. Yes, that guy is there. Do be careful. And that one. But here's the thing. You see 6 of the emeralds during story mode. You just assume that the yellow emerald is hidden somewhere beneath Dusty Desert. Silver never found it when he was there. So Shadow and Mephiles find it instead. But the red emerald is nowhere to be seen. We have no idea where the red emerald is. It's just there when Mephiles summons all the emeralds to turn into Solaris. Spoiler warning, he turns into Solaris. And suddenly the red emerald is just there. It doesn't appear in any of the stories except for the last story. It's not in any of the character stories. Where was it? Well, I don't know. Why does Mephiles not just summon all the Chaos Emeralds to begin with? I also don't know. Because surely that would make life a lot easier for him. But no, he fails to notice that. Because that's a tradition in Sonic games. The villains always have to fail to notice the obvious. The heroes, on the other hand, have a habit of pointing out the obvious. Come on. No, I don't want to get hurt. There we go. No, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. Silver, how are you not picking that up? Right on the rocks to go there if you wish. And now you can take the eagle to the next stage. The next part of the stage. 10 minutes in. 10 minutes, this is what I'm saying. The last 3 levels for Silver are really long. And Kingdom Valley is long, as we're seeing. And this is nothing compared to Flame Core. Flame Core can be a good 20 minutes if you know what you're doing. Flame Core is an insanely long stage. And again, a lot of it you're just going through the same sections as Sonic and Shadow. But they can complete it in about 10 minutes. Silver does have his own section near the end. He starts a little bit later into the stage than Sonic and Shadow do. And he actually covers less distance than them. But because of his slower speed, his slower combat, it takes him so much longer to complete the stage. Oh, and suddenly Sonic, who still has his gems from last time. We still have all of his abilities. Minus the yellow gem, because I haven't collected that yet. That's where the town missions come in. But yeah, the best part of Silver's Kingdom Valley, where we're playing as Sonic, and it's pretty much the same thing. We've gone through all this section of the level with Sonic before. Again, why can't we just stay as Silver? I've done Sonic's story. If I'm playing Silver's story, I expect to play as Silver. But no, we do have to go through a point where we switch to Sonic and Shadow. Even though we'll be playing as them in these levels anyway. We've already played through Sonic in Kingdom Valley. We'll be playing through Shadow in Aquatic Phase. I mean, yeah, I prefer playing as them than I do Silver. I would prefer to be playing these levels with them other than Silver. But it seems pointless because they play the stages anyway. The spikes aren't there. See? What was the point of that? And by the way, I'm sure I just saw enemies over there. I'm not going to go over there and check, but I'm sure I just saw enemies up here. This level's also very enemy heavy. I imagine you could probably complete this stage on enemy score alone. I won't be finding that out here because I died. But that's the only reason you can't. Don't have to destroy these guys, you don't want to. There's really no point. Did I kill him? Nope, I didn't kill him because it likes to do that with silver for some reason. Yeah, there's a lot of these guys here. I'm guessing they're using their feet, I don't know. I can just believe that the characters all have the abilities of Spider-Man in this game. Because when we saw Knuckles in Flame Core, I didn't show it off on Aquatic Base, but in Flame Core, Knuckles does Knuckles does not. He doesn't use his spikes on his hands to climb the walls. You know, that's what he does in Sonic 3. That's what he does in Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2. He's using the spikes on his knuckles, hence his name, in order to climb up the walls. He doesn't do that in this game. He literally just has sticky fingers. I've never understood how Rouge attaches herself to the walls. Like, I don't think it can't be her boots. It can't be. I don't see how it can be her fingers. She just somehow attaches herself to the wall. And I had a feeling that was going to happen. That's what he gets for doing that. He gets death. And now I have to try and do this without any rings. Yeah, I think I can already see where this is going. How did that not destroy the tower? The weakest objects in the world. And that didn't destroy them. And now I gotta try and do this section without any rings. And none of them are even noticing that I'm here. Hello? For the love of God, fire your missiles and not your machine guns. Please. I want these rings. You pretty much have to let go of the button there. I don't think it's possible to make that jump otherwise. Yeah, you pretty much have to catch the missiles here. I don't know. I don't know if you can run out of enemies in this section or not. Unfortunately, that might just happen because Silver's not going to aim for that tower until these enemies are dead. Unfortunately, he can't aim for the enemies either. So, Silver... That's an annoying thing. When you're trying to throw the projectiles, Silver has to stand still. Finally. And if you use your hover, Silver will let go of the objects. This is the one time the Eagle doesn't take us to another part of the stage. Well, it does, but there's no loading screen. It just takes us to the end. So we now have to take care of all of those enemies that Sonic is dealing with. We can't just progress to the end of the stage. I do like how the door is open to showcase that Sonic's already gone through. But, we have to take out all of these enemies. We can't just go through the door. We're not Moses. We're not Sonic. We're not going to be partying the waters. The water rises. I really want this ring! And if you're close enough to the missiles when they explode, you'll still get hurt. And look! I'm shooting the strongest missiles in the game. And they don't do any difference in damage. Look how many hits I'm taking because of these guys. I'm gonna die. Unless my... Yep, see, right there, right at the end, I died. How far back is this one going to take me? And it takes me all the way back here. That is why I hate playing with Silver. Because you take so many hits because you can't go anywhere. With the number of projectiles that are thrown at you. Especially when it's these guys. And I remind you, this is the easiest version of Kingdom Valley. This is the easy version. We still have hard mode. We still have very hard mode. I haven't even played this stage of very hard mode yet. I will be playing them before recording them. Well, most of them anyway. But thankfully that tower is already down. But see, I have to go through this entire part all over again, and it's all because of that. And I hate that. I really hate that. It's so annoying. It's so easy to take damage in these stages. It's going to be so frustrating I'm getting the hiccups. It's so easy to take damage in Silver stages like that because there's a load of times where you can't do anything. And for some reason Silver isn't even making this thing move. I'm pushing forwards, but he's just automatically letting go. I'm not releasing R1. He is just letting go. The reason I don't like playing as Silver at the beginning of his story is because his gameplay gets dull quite quickly. But the main reason I don't like playing as Silver is simply because of how vulnerable he is. Because I can't get anywhere without taking a hit. One thing that I prefer about the classic games, as well as, you know, Adventure 2, Heroes, the enemies all shoot projectiles, but the projectiles move really slowly. You can avoid them really easily. Unless you are in some sort of confined space. Like if I'm in a Spring Yard zone, I always have to defeat the Buzz Bomber first, otherwise his shot is going to hurt me because I'm stuck between those slow moving blocks. You know, I don't like that, but all I need to do is just not jump into it, and I'll be okay. As long as I kill him first. In Sonic Adventure, most enemies don't even have projectiles. Finally! Most of the enemies don't even have projectiles. And those that do, you can avoid them easily. You know, you even get to play as the enemy with your projectile yourself. You get to play as Gamma. Sonic Adventure 2, they're shots. You can avoid them very easily. Sonic Heroes, there are enemies with rapid fire guns, but most of them don't have very much range. There are exceptions, the blue flappers. They have machine guns. See, I'm not even anywhere near these explosions. The explosions are so ridiculously huge. This is the last time I'm going to be seeing these guys in Silver's story, but they scatter. The worst thing about these guys is the fact that they scatter your rings so far. And it is so hard to get them back because of it. And see again, Silver stops when he does the shock bracelet. Ugh! I want this ring before it disappears! And yeah, you can't avoid their shots. And that's one thing I hate about the change made to the Gun Beetles. I still got nearly 16,000 points for a time bonus. I think that's still a C rank.
That took too long.
But see, that is why I hate playing as Silver later on in his story. What was just dull originally is now not only dull, it's also incredibly frustrating. And I just don't like that. Shadow and Sonic can take out the enemies so much faster. You know, Sonic can homing attack, and that's all you're doing at first. You later get the bounce bracelet. It takes care of them really quickly. Shadow takes care of them really quickly, immediately, because he has his little mid-air breakdance combo that deals with them really quickly, but you can't do that with Silver. But let's just move on and do Silver's final level, his longest level. We can finally put an end to this, ish.